Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
I am that dude, Bodkins. Patty to patty. It's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy. Give a big round of applause for the one and only Bodkin Show. I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another great episode of the Bodkins Show. I am that dude, of course, Bodkins. It is Wednesday night, so you know what that means. It is our NFL Week 14. That's right, Week 14. We are cruising along. Fantasy playoffs about to start. We're 1 week away. We'll even preview get a little fantasy advice tonight as well. We'll talk a little AFC East, Bills losing Von Miller, and of course, we're going to break down every game. If you missed our Week 13 reaction show, please do check that out. Me and Craig reacted to everything that happened in Week 13, and all that reaction leads into our predictions tonight. And always to help me break it down, my main man, Craig with a K. Craig, what's up, my friend? It's been a while since you've been live on a Wednesday show. You usually send your picks in. So welcome back to the Wednesday show. We get those picks live from your mouth tonight instead of typing them in, as we know you've been asking folks who to pick, and that's why you've been doing so well.
Hey, it's good to be back. I was white hot there for a minute. I've cooled off these last couple of weeks, but look to get the ball rolling in the right direction this week. I'm just glad to be back on the show, man.
Yeah, appreciate it again, Craig. We've missed you. And so I had to dig deep dive while you've been gone. And a guy who's been filling in your shoes, and he continues to make appearances. He's become my new full-time co-host on my Wednesday here on Wednesday. You guys know who it is. It's Mr. Yankee fan, Johnny Cruz. He's celebrating, Judge. Hey, after the Dolphins lose, Judge re-signing with the Yankees has to make you happy.
Yeah, it definitely took a little bit off of that blow from the loss, man. It's a big deal, 9 years for $360, but you know what? It ain't my money, so it's all good. I'm glad he's I'm glad he's coming back. I wouldn't be surprised. Be on the lookout for that captain. They're gonna want to name him a captain. I'm pretty sure. But no, I'm glad he's back, man. We definitely need him.
I know we're a football show, but I have to ask you too. What's your thoughts on Cashman? I've tuned into your show, and you've told Cashman to get out, but they've given them the extension, and then he gets the deal done for Judge. Are you about face now here on your opinions on Cashman?
Not really. I mean, I still feel the way I feel about Cashman. I mean, overall, he's done a good job. I mean, we're in the playoffs every year, but there was some times I'm never gonna forget 2017 when we had a chance to get Verlander and Cole, and he didn't want to give up on the young pieces because he made a comment on the Michael K show that we're not about winning a championship, we want to win championships. Well, you know what? You got to win one first before you can win multiple, bro. So, you know what I'm saying? He got a little too cocky there, and we have nothing to show for it. So
that's kind of the problem there, though, right? Like you said, you're in the playoffs every year, but where are the rings at? The rings are in the 90s.
Facts. Well, we got one in 2009, man. Don't make it seem that. You know what I'm saying? Don't make it seem that long. But still, even for Yankee fans, that's a long time. 2009. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, we definitely needed Judge back. No, I still feel the way I feel about Cashman, but I mean, he's pretty much a part of the Steinbrenner family, man. So I knew they weren't going to fire him. So
Johnny, your number one fan, Landez,
what up?
signs in, says Johnny took our first L, but we much love. We made a good run. Great show, guys. So Johnny, we had to bring in our great friend from our Sunday show. And your rival in the AFC East. Welcome to the show, friend of the program. Welcome to the first time to the show, Mr. Scott Cobe. Scott, What's up, my man? Thank you for finally joining us. I know we're a second-tier show compared to what we usually are. You know, you finally made time for our rinky-dink show here on the Bodkin Show, so I much appreciated it. As I was begging, I had to ask Scott 2 or 3 times to the dance, and finally he felt pity on me and has now joined us.
Listen, had I known the food in the green room was outstanding, I'd have come on a long time ago. So, hey, Johnny, we got Kenley Jansen and some guy from Japan. So the Red Sox are coming on. So watch out for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like some of the moves that your Cubs did, Nick. You know what I'm saying? Tyon had a nice season this year, so they actually spending some money. You got some good young talent. You know what I'm saying? You took Cody Bellinger, right, from the Dodgers.
Yeah,
so,
the fact that Wilson Contreras is going to wear a Cardinals jersey chaps my ass more than any move that we made.
Exactly. Craig took the words right out of my mouth right there.
Yeah.
So,
how do you not make that happen? How do you let that happen?
That's a lot. Hey, we could go an hour long, John.
That'll be the base.
Yes.
Let me know when you have that baseball show, man. I'd love to be on there so we can talk baseball, man, for real.
Me and Craig could go an hour long on all the problems with the Cubs. I'm focused on football, all right? Don't get my blood pressure's already trying to calm down about the past Cubs moves, man.
Hey, I was trying to be positive. It was your boy.
It's not positive.
Your boy Craig. Oh, man.
It can never be positive when it's the Cubs unless we're talking 2016. And even then, I had a hard time being positive all the time.
Johnny, I will say one thing. Nick will be in a great mood this Sunday because the Packers won't lose this week.
Hey, that's true. That's true. 2 weeks in a row, we're not losing. So we had 2 bye weeks, really. We beat Craig's Bears, and then we got a bye week this week, baby. So,
oh, man.
Hey, let's get into the football talk. Scott, what's your thoughts here so far on the Patriots season? And Johnny, chime in. The Bills also lose Von Miller today for the year. Can the Dolphins or maybe even the Patriots kind of catch up with the Bills?
I mean, I think we can. Obviously, we're 1 game behind them. We have the tiebreaker, winning the game against on the head-to-head earlier in the season. We actually have the head-to-head so far on the Pats as well. The Jets wound up beating us when we didn't have Tua, but it's definitely a very competitive division. But, I mean, everything is right there in front of us. I mentioned it earlier on my show. Quick shout-out, Let's Talk Miami Dolphins on the Let's Talk Sports Network. But I had to talk Dolphin fans off the ledge, man. I mean, we lose 1 game, and they're quickly, oh, my God, the season's over. Yeah, we're 8-4, man. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So enjoy it. Everything's right in front of us. If we can – bounce back with a win this week against the Chargers, we should be good.
Scott, what's your thoughts there?
Miami Dolphins fans should be just as long as you stay a game behind going into Buffalo next week after this coming week, I think it is.
Yep.
You should be just fine. Mm-hmm. Even if you're not successful against Buffalo, you're still going to make the playoffs. You're still probably going to play Tennessee in the first round. So that's a good matchup for Miami, I think. But you still got a chance to win a division and get the number 1 or 2 seed. So that's what you want at this time of year for sure.
That's the crazy part. Sorry to cut you off. That's the crazy part is that if we actually win that game against San Francisco, we're the number 1 seed in the AFC. That's crazy to think. And again, Dolphin fans are tripping. So it is what it is.
Yeah, and
exactly.
Right.
The Dolphins fans have no reason to act spoiled.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
These last 20 years have been garbage, man. So don't act like we always win in 10 games. Great.
Right.
Good. Well said, John.
Plus, I think the Dolphins are the most dangerous team in the AFC right now because they have the speed on the outside. They have the running game, although, Wilson struggled. I thought he was going to struggle. He did struggle. So they have a lot of components here. Bradley Chubb is there now. Their defense is going to be off the chain. They're going to be really good. So they're a team nobody wants to play in the AFC playoffs. So in terms of the Patriots, their coaching situation just handcuffs them completely in terms of doing anything. Mac Jones is not a good quarterback because of look at the offensive coordinators, Matt Patricia, Joe Judge. I'm not really high on the Patriots. Granted, I think they can go to Arizona and win Monday night. I think Belichick could do enough to neutralize that team in terms of maybe Hopkins and Brown. But they have a tough schedule coming down the stretch here. The Raiders are hot. The Cardinals, who knows what team you're going to get. Then they got to play the Dolphins. Then they got to play the Bills and the Bengals. So they might get one win the rest of the year, possibly. I don't see them doing much. I see them fading down to like 7-10 this year.
So you got them out the playoffs, Scott?
Yes. Yeah, they're out of the playoffs.
What's the offense? Because the defense is spectacular. It always has been. I mean, Judon could be defensive player of the year. Yeah. What's the problem with the offense? Is it personnel? Is it Mac Jones? Is it you alluded to some of the coaching, like because they don't have an OC. Like those guys have never called. Matt Patricia was a DC and now he's an OC. Like, and he wasn't he's not like the best guy in the world.
So Kurt Warner was interviewed by the Boston Herald, the newspaper that's up here. And I agree with him. There's no imagination in this offense. They're running the same stuff, very bland, very vanilla. Their running game is Ramondre Stevenson. That's fine. They have no wide receivers. I mean, Jacoby Myers is not a number one wide receiver for any team. Devontae Parker is a hit and miss guy. They need to get better talent on the offensive side of the football. And they need to have some imagination, run some stuff that teams aren't expecting. Teams know what's coming at them on defense, and they're ready for it. So there's just no imagination, and Mac Jones in the second year is definitely handcuffed or definitely limited by Patricia and Joe Judge. Belichick said he's disappointed in Patricia this year, and I am as well. I don't see any imagination on that offensive side. So,
Craig, what's your thoughts there on the AFC East?
I mean, I somewhat agree. The Patriots, I feel like the schedule's too tough coming down the stretch, and the AFC is just too tough. I mean, there's a lot of teams competing. There's going to be some good teams in the AFC that don't make the playoffs. And I agree with what you said about Miami. I mean, I feel like as long as you are one game behind Buffalo going into that matchup, you're happy. You're right where you want to be because you win that game. I mean, then you've got the tiebreaker and you're in the driver's seat. So, I mean, Miami, like you said, nobody wants to play Miami. There's a couple teams in the AFC right now, man. The Bengals is another team. I mean, nobody wants to play. They're getting hot at the right time. Man, the AFC playoffs are going to be fun. I mean, that's for sure.
Let's go. Hey, let's just do a quick round robin. Johnny, give me your top 3 teams in the AFC if you had to rank them, just in the conference alone.
I mean, I still give Kansas City the number 1 spot. I mean, that's a really good Bengals team that's starting to get hot. So I would go Kansas City, Buffalo, Miami, Cincinnati if I had to do top 4 right now.
Scott, what's your thoughts there on the top teams in the AFC?
Yeah, I like that. I think Miami could be above Buffalo only because this Von Miller injury does a lot for that defense. Yeah. And I think their defense could struggle stopping the run here. So I think teams could challenge them with the run. If you've got a good running back, Miami's got a great tandem. Kansas City, Pacheco's been coming on. So, they're not gonna be a defensively good as they were before. I like Kansas City, Miami, Cincinnati, and Buffalo. That would be my top 4 right now. I think Cincinnati's playing well at the right time. Right. And that's always important. And they're challenging. They're going to win that division. I don't think Baltimore without Lamar Jackson is in serious trouble. So,
Craig, what about you? What's your top teams in the AFC here?
I mean, it sounds crazy that we're all putting Kansas City at the top, and they just lost to Cincinnati. But I'm gonna put Kansas City at the top, and I'm putting the Bengals at number 2. And then, I mean, Buffalo, Miami, they're right there neck and neck. 2 weeks ago, I'd have said Buffalo, but Buffalo's been playing kind of shaky here lately. Miami's been playing great football. I feel like this last game, you just can't take that into heart on Miami. To me, that just shows you who San Francisco is. San Francisco's defense is for real. It's been for real for about 6 weeks now. And I'm not taking anything away from Miami based on last week's performance. So I'm going to put Miami 3, I mean, just by a hair over Buffalo right now. So I'm going to go Kansas City, Cincinnati, Miami, Buffalo.
Yeah, I actually like Cincinnati. Maybe you guys know how much I love Joe Burrow, but I mean, they beat the Chiefs head to head, and they own the Chiefs. Joe Burrow's 3-0 against the Chiefs. What's crazy is he can't beat the damn Browns, but by God, when it plays the Chiefs, he can freak. I mean, just absolutely lights out. They got the Browns this week. So, I mean, they're a team, Scott, you alluded to it. I think they're going to win that division. Man, I don't know if they have enough. I think they lost too many games early, whether or not they can catch to get that bye week. But they're not a team that's going to go quietly away in the playoffs. I think that they can absolutely make it back to the AFC Championship game, and another Super Bowl run could be, because once Joe Mixon should be back this week, their offensive line continues to gel, and the weapons that they have with Boyd, Hayden Hurst, and then their defense. I say it every week. That defense is underrated. Hendricks. That's one thing that they can do that the Bills can no longer do, that Von Miller, and that's get after Pat Mahomes. I mean, you saw it in that game last week. Hendricks and Hubbard getting after Mahomes, getting that, sacking him. The Bills losing Von Miller is huge, because what they couldn't do last year was get after the quarterback. They brought Von in to do that. And now he's gone, and that was going to be their guy, kind of like their guy. Hey, when we need a big play, a big sack, that's the guy that's going to make it happen. And that guy's gone. Micah Hyde is gone. So I like Bengals 1, Chiefs kind of 2, and I like the Dolphins at 3, and the Bills are just going to be too riddled right now with the injuries. So I have them kind of at the 4 spot.
Here's the thing I see with Cincinnati, and here's the problem they're going to have once they reach the playoffs. They're going to have to beat Kansas City or Buffalo, Miami. They're going to have a tough road. Remember last year they played the Raiders, Titans, and then they got the Chiefs. This year it's a much tougher road for them to get to the AFC Championship game. So I could see whoever gets the number 1 seed getting there. I could see Buffalo, Miami playing the AFC Championship game this year. I could see it. And I think it's coming to the forefront. Because would that be the tiebreaker, you think? Because I think Buffalo wins in Buffalo in coming weeks. That would be the tie. That would be the tiebreaker. I think, Miami Buffalo is going to be a great game. I think Buffalo is going to win at home. I think Miami is going to be the 5 seed, which is a perfect spot for them, because they'll get Buffalo in the second round, which they can beat. There's no question. They already showed it once. They can do it again. So that's my opinion. I think whoever gets the 5 seed is going right to the second round. I have no faith Tennessee is going to do anything in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they're the weakest. Obviously, the weakest of the division.
They are.
Of the division.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that pretty much. I think it would be an easier road to an AFC Championship game if Miami can actually win the division and have some home games, as opposed to having to go, to have to go to Tennessee, then to Buffalo to possibly play either a Cincinnati or a KC. That's asking a lot for a young team that hasn't been in the playoffs for a minute. But if we can get that division title, then we got people coming down to South Beach to play us, and I think it'll be a little bit better for us as far as the chances to get to the AFC. But I've been saying it all years. As long as they can keep Tua upright and Tyreek and Waddle are out there, we can compete with anybody. Yeah. So I like our chances. It's going to be fun going down the stretch here, man. Like Kay said, it's going to be a lot of fun watching to see what happens over these next 5 weeks.
Yeah. Italy Jet says, "Hey fellas, I'll see y'all Sunday morning. I hope you all doing well. Appreciate it, Italy Jet.
What up?
Thanks
what up?
For, tuning in. I mean, that's another team in the AFC that can still make the playoffs with Mike White.
Yep.
They're right there.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Scott.
I think they're going to have a tough time. It's going to come down to the Jets in Baltimore, I think, for that for that last spot. Excuse me. And I just think Baltimore with Lamar would probably get it over the Jets. I think so.
Well, there's three. Should be. Is there three wild card teams, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So you got Miami. If you think Buffalo or Miami won, then who's the other?
Well, yeah. Whoever doesn't win the North will be, will be the other one.
So the Ravens are Cincinnati.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, three teams from the East can legitimately make it. Like it could be
Bills,
Dolphins, and Jets can all make it.
I think right now the Chargers are the biggest threat to taking one of the seats, and they're
they're 6-6.
This Sunday night game is going to be huge.
I don't
Chargers,
trust the
Miami.
Chargers at all. I don't trust them at
No,
all.
I don't either.
I mean, you can't trust their coach. So, I mean, and no team in the AFC South outside of the Titans is getting in.
Right.
And probably just the Chiefs to me in the AFC in the West.
In the West,
So you're looking
the
at
Jets are going to get 7. I think the Jets will get 7 then.
Yeah.
unless
they
they just
can.
fall apart down
unless
the
they fall apart,
road and
right.
the Chargers somehow catch fire. But they're give me a team that's coached by Bob Saleh more than old
Right.
Staley any day of the week.
Yep.
Yeah, facts on that. Yeah,
I mean, the Jets play defense, man. The Chargers they got all the names, man, but their defense just ain't good.
Yeah, and it, like you said, they got players on that defensive side, but yeah, they just, I don't know, they just tend to not put it together. They got a good, obviously, young quarterback, but guys are starting to get healthy though. Mike Williams should be coming back. Keenan Allen just got back. So
the problem is their coach is gonna coach him out of the game.
Yeah,
he's gonna coach him out of the game.
Yeah,
he's an idiot.
And I mean,
that's the best way. That's the best way, Craig. I mean,
well said, Craig. Well said.
On that note,
you just lost to the Raiders.
Yeah, the lowly Raiders. Hey, well, I mean, the Raiders are catching hot. They won 3 in a row, so maybe.
But you gotta win that game, man. You fighting for a playoff spot. You have to win that game, man.
And they were fighting for a playoff spot the last game of last season against the same Raiders, and they couldn't figure that out. The coach screwed them.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. On that note, we'll end it on Staley's an idiot note, and we'll jump into this week's games. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Let me share the old screen here. So Italy trying to say, and the Raiders are getting hot at the right time. Are you guys buying into the Raiders, or they're just kind of getting? I don't want to say lucky, but you guys think? Are you
they have talent. They basically would have to, in my opinion, they'd have to win out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know that they can. You know what I'm saying? And they won 3 in a row. You know what I'm saying? So they got a little bit of a streak going, but I don't see them winning 8 in a row to end the season and to sneak into the playoffs. I mean, it'd be a cool story if they wound up doing that.
They've got some winnable games down the stretch.
Yeah,
that's what we looked at it. We looked at it on Sunday, Craig. I mean, in the game we're getting ready to talk about, they play the Rams, the Patriots, the Steelers, the 49ers, and Chiefs. Really, I think
they're a no-go.
Yeah, they're not winning all. They're not.
No-go.
Yeah, the 49ers and Chiefs, that's hard to finish off the season.
Are you telling me they could probably beat the 49ers with Brock Purdy?
Not with that San Francisco defense.
Not with that defense, bro.
And we can sit here all day and say they can't beat the Chiefs because the Chiefs are better, but the Raiders always do good against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I can see the Raiders beating the Chiefs
too.
If the Chiefs have the number 1 seed wrapped up.
Yeah.
Because
it can be done. Obviously, it can be done. I mean, it's
those are all winnable games.
Yeah,
Besides
of
maybe
course.
the Chiefs. To me, I think they could beat. They're gonna. I 100% believe they're gonna beat the Rams on Thursday. I mean, they should. Yeah. This is the Raiders we're talking about. That's what makes it so sketchy is when you think about who they are,
right?
And then
they're being coached by.
Yeah, and then you got Belichick always beats his disciples, so I think he probably should handle when the Raiders come to when they go out to Las Vegas.
I wouldn't say that. Remember Detroit a couple of years ago? Patricia beat him. Remember McDaniels when he was up in Denver beat him. So
okay, yeah.
One thing that worries me for the Raiders is their bread and butter here on their win streak has been Josh Jacobs, and they're playing some good run defenses down the stretch. So if they can't get the run game going, they've proven they just don't win them games.
I mean, plus look at the Ravens' schedule down the stretch. They play the Steelers this week, Browns, Falcons, Steelers again, and then the Bengals in Week 18.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to win at least 3 of those games, maybe 4, if Lamar comes back.
Huntley's not bad. A bad backup.
No, Huntley's not a bad backup either. So,
let's go ahead into tonight's game. We've been talking about tomorrow's game. We've been talking about the Raiders. They are 6.5 favorite against Baker Mayfield and the Rams. Craig, your Baker Mayfield revenge tour took a twist and turn here. Who had Baker Mayfield starting for the Rams on their bingo card? But Craig, we'll start with you. You taking the Baker Mayfield revenge tour in LA. This is where the Baker revenge tour starts, right, Craig?
Is Baker even starting this week?
It's possible.
They say he is. They say he is. I've heard he is, but
wow, really?
That's crazy.
I've heard that.
Wow.
No, I mean, not this fast, right? Baker Mayfield can't just show up. Sean McVay's not that magical, right? Baker Mayfield can't just show up and the Rams are fixed. Man, I mean, the Rams are at home. They played Seattle way closer than I expected them to last week. It's hard to take the Raiders with, what's the spread, 6.5?
Yeah.
Man, that's tough. But I'm still going to take the Raiders because, I mean, even if Baker Mayfield is a quarterback, who the hell else is out there with him?
Right.
Cam Akers. I mean, that's about it.
Yep.
So I'm gonna take the Raiders. I don't like it, but I'm gonna do it.
Scott, what's your thoughts here?
I'm going to agree. I think Devontae Adams goes off again like he did last week against the Chargers, and I think Josh Jacobs is going to run the ball really well. Baker Mayfield on 3 days of learning the playbook, going to LA, possibly starting for them. They can't score more than 7 to 10 points. I think the Raiders win this game easily. I think they pull away from them. So I just think there's too much talent in the Raiders offensive side for the Rams to stop. So,
Johnny, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, I'm riding with them as well. I'm going to go Raiders, even though it's hard for me to pick the Raiders in any game because they've been so, disappointing this year. But they are, they did win. They have won 3 straight. They are getting hot. And the Rams, like I said, I stand by the fact that they got their chip last year, so they just been hung over all year. And like Craig said, like who he throwing the ball to? You know what I'm saying? Seriously. So I like Cam Akers, but I don't think he's going to be able to run all over the Raiders enough for them to win this game. I think Devontae, this is if they're going to have any chance of making a run, they have to win this game to keep it going. So I'll go with the Raiders, and I think they'll cover that 6-9.
Yeah, I forgot to give out last weweek's here before I make my pick.
Yeah,
so,
we don't need to bring up old stuff, man. We don't need to bring up old stuff.
I went 8-7. Slim, who was our guest last week, went 7-8. Craig also went 8-7. Johnny finished the worst of the week, 6-9. So Johnny was our turd.
I don't know why you bringing up old stuff, man. You bringing up old stuff.
Hey, I'm just letting you know. You weren't the only one. That you and the Dolphins went down. So everybody's on the Raiders. Guess what? Bodkins is on the Raiders too, baby. I'm hammering home the Raiders at 6.5. How much the Rams? I just feel like the Raiders are going to screw the pooch up here. The next game we got the Jets head to Buffalo. The Bills trying to revenge the early season loss. I mean, just a few weeks ago, actually. The Jets are 9.5 dogs headed into Buffalo. Kind of a high spread, I feel like. Yeah,
it is. Mike White's been a huge difference for the Jets offense. He's not turning the ball over a lot, if any at all. He's finding Garrett Wilson has become a thing again for the Jets. And Bam Zonovan Knight's been great running the ball. So this is too high of a spread for me. I know it's Buffalo is, division leader. I know the Jets are the poor little stepsister to Buffalo, but 9.5. I think Buffalo's going to win the game, but I think the Jets are going to cover the spread. I could see a very close game again like last time. So give me the Jets.
Johnny, as our other resident AFC East, who you got here?
Yeah, I completely agree with Scott on that one. I mean, I think Buffalo wins the game. I mean, I'm pulling for as hard as it is for me to say, I'm pulling for the Jets because I need Buffalo to drop one more. Yeah. I don't know that the Jets win this game, but yeah, 9.5 is a lot. They're feeling good. They're the team is fully behind Mike White, and like Scott said, Garrett's turning into a stud. Garrett Wilson, and that defense is for real.
Yeah.
And like we just said, we talked about Von Von Miller being out, so I think that's going to help the Jets, get a little offense going. So they may not win this game, but I think they'll keep it close. I mean, 9.5 is a lot, man. For a divisional game, it's a lot.
Craig, does Vegas know something here that we don't know for this spread to be this high? Are they just not believers in the Jets?
I don't know if it's because Buffalo's at home. I don't know if it's not believing in Mike White. I don't know what it is, but I agree with Scott and I agree with Johnny, man. 9.5 is just too many points for the way the Jets have been playing football. And like they said, man, I mean, the locker room is behind Mike White. The team believes in Mike White, and the defense is for real. And they beat Buffalo once already, so they believe they can do it again. Buffalo might have revenge on their mind, but I just don't see it being a blowout. I do think Buffalo wins the game, but I think it's close, and I think the Jets cover.
Yeah, the Jets are a believer in Mike White. Well, Mike White's now my quarterback on my fantasy team, so I'm a believer in Mike White, and I believe in the Jets at plus 9.5, baby. Hammering it home. Give me the Jets at 9.5.
Yeah, they gotta. I mean, like I said, I don't think they win this game. I hope they win this game, but if they're gonna have any kind of chance of sneaking into the playoffs, they need to try to win this game. But that's a lot, man. 9.5.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's too much. It's really too much.
It is. For some reason, that the Vegas loves the Bills a lot. They give a lot of their opponents a lot of high spreads. Let's get into, speaking of spread and being, when you're spreading, you're kind of spreading out your legs a little bit. And a man who likes to spread out his legs a little bit is none other than Massage Watson. Massage didn't play so well last week, Johnny. Here comes, he's going to Cincinnati. My boy Joey Burrow and the Bengals are -6. You like Massage Watson to play a little bit better and with the +6 here, or the Bengals, continue this role that they're on?
Yeah, I'm not going to put like and Watson in the same sentence. I do think he's going to play better than he did last week, having a game under his belt. I mean, they still got Nick Chubb but the Bengals are hot right now. They just beat Kansas City. They want to make sure that they lock down this division. So you need to win this game. And I don't see Cleveland being able to slow down the Bengals, to be quite honest. I mean, I was surprised by how bad that Browns defense has been. And I think Joe Burrow goes nuts, and I think they blow out Cleveland.
Craig, this seems like a trap game for the Bengals to me. Like the Bengals coming off that hot win against the Chiefs, and here they are getting ready to take on the Browns. Joey Burrow can't beat the damn Browns.
Well, I feel like last time they played, we said it felt like a trap game, and it was. But this run that the Bengals are on, man, I mean, the Titans were out for the Bengals revenge game. Bengals knocked them off. Kansas City out for the revenge game. Bengals knocked them off. But the one thing Bengals can't do is beat Cleveland Browns. Joey Burrow's getting that monkey off his back this week. I think they not only win this game, I'm taking the Bengals to cover. I have zero belief in Deshaun Watson. I've been saying it since before the preseason. Dudes just can't miss that much live football action and just pop right back in and just be a stud, man. So to me, I don't know if we'll ever see the Deshaun Watson that we saw, 2-3 years ago. But if we do, I don't think it's going to be any time this year. He might play a little bit better this week, but I don't think he's going to play much better, because I think the defense he's going against this week is a whole lot better than one he faced last week. So I've got the Bengals winning and covering this game.
Scott, Craig saying that Deshaun can't pop in and out, but he has some of them masseuses. According to them, they are popping in and out a lot of different things. So what's your thoughts here on the Bengals-Browns?
So I'm with Craig here and with Johnny. I think the Bengals are going to win. Don't forget, the last time they played, it was Jamar Chase's first game out. So to me, that tells me that Jamar Chase is back. I know Cincinnati has a lot of trouble with Cleveland in covering spreads. I don't think so this time. Deshaun Watson can't play anymore as he played last game. He was beyond awful. But having said that, I think Cincinnati puts a big number on Cleveland because of the pounding they took last time, number one. And number two, Jamar Chase is back. He's going to go off this week. So I love Cincinnati in this spot.
I'm right there with you guys. I say it every week. You know what it is. It's Burrow. It's Bodkins. It's Bengals. Give me the Bengals at -6. So far, we're all 3 for 3 on the same pick, so which means we're all going to start 0-3. So there's that.
I was just about to say. So everybody watching, you make sure you pick opposite because. Oh man.
Let's get into the next one here. It's the Texans headed to the Cowboys with the biggest spread. This is a college football spread, but maybe because the Texans are a college team. Scott, we'll start with you. The Texans head to Dallas. The Cowboys, to me, look like they're playing the best football they've played in possibly years, or maybe they're just beating up on weak-ass teams. But either way, they are 16.5 favorites as the Texans come to town.
I have no confidence the Texans can do anything on offense except run the ball, and I think Dallas is going to stack the box against Dameon Pierce this week. So as much as this spread is high, I still think Dallas is going to cover this spread. I think they're going to boat race Houston. It's a rivalry, so to speak, in the state of Texas. So I think Dallas is going to win this game like 34-7 this week. I just think they're going to get off quick, and they're going to keep going, and they're going to lay it on, and they're going to pound the Houston Texans. So give me Dallas, and give me the spread. I'll give 16.5. This could get up to 20 before kickoff on Sunday. It's that incredible. Davis Mills is back this week too, so
Craig, 16.5. That's like Georgia when they play in freaking LSU last week. I mean. This is just ridiculous. The spread is out. It's crazy that this spread is this high.
It is crazy, man. And when I first saw it, I was like, man, I can't take a spread that high. But then I just really kind of started thinking about it. And what's the stat right now on the Cowboys? I think since Dak has been back, they've scored at least 33 points in every game. So if I'm just putting that at the bar at 33 points, I'm gonna take 17 points away from that. The Texans aren't scoring that much. So I'm going to still take Dallas to not only win but cover the spread, because I don't think the Texans are going to be able to score very much, if at all. And I almost think Dallas's defense has the possibility to cover the spread on their own with a couple pick sixes or sack fumbles. I think it's going to get ugly. I think it's going to get ugly probably pretty quick. I think Dallas is going to win by like 25.
Johnny, Dallas did just beat the brakes off of the Colts on Sunday night. A couple weeks ago, I mean, they beat the brakes off of Minnesota. They're probably doing it again here to the poor little Texans, huh?
Yeah, I mean that's a crazy big spread, and you would love to just say, oh, they can backdoor cover or anything like that. But I agree with. I mean, they may not score at all. So I think wow, that's big. But I think Dallas covers. I mean, they definitely win the game, but I think they do cover. I think they do just. They run them off the field. I mean, we threw 30 on them in the first half. So I think Dallas does something similar. And I mean, unless they just ease up in the fourth quarter to where they might cover, but I don't know. I don't think they will. They kept putting it on the Colts last week. So I think they're going to want to do the same thing to the Texans.
Real quick, we'll just go real quick, Johnny. What's the highest amount that for you to take the Texans?
I mean, I think if it did hit the 20 plus, I might say that they can, you know what I'm saying? But then again, I would probably, I mean, it might have to be more than 20 for me.
More than 20?
Yeah, man, because I think, like I said, I think it could easily be 40 something to 3. Like the Texans may not score, bro. You know what I'm saying? Dameon Pierce is nice, but like Scott said, they're gonna stack that box. That defense is gonna go after Kyle Allen. Nah, man, they ain't got no. Nah, they ain't. There's no way they're gonna. I don't even think they slow Dallas down. Like I said, like Dallas could easily put up 45, 50. They could put up another 50 burger easy, bro.
Scott, I see you shaking your head. 20 the highest for you.
I would go as high as 22 before I even thought about the Texans. My hot take is Dallas. Dallas is going to the Super Bowl this year out of the NFC.
My God, somebody lurked Kenny Miller out there.
They are hitting their stride at the right time. Tyron Smith is back this week, and when he's back, that offensive line is nasty. They do not let that get hit at all. So I
And
love
the fans want to add OBJ to the mix down there too. It sounds like saying his name in the Mavs game.
What's the high for you, Craig?
I mean, comfortably, it'd have to be in the 20s. The gambler in me, honestly, 18.5, I'd probably go Texans.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Anything over that 17, 18 mark, I'd probably take them. I still wouldn't feel great because Dallas, like I said, man, I think the stat, it was either 33 or 35 points that they've scored every game since Dak has been back. So if they score 33 in this game, that means the Texans got to score 14. I don't think they can get 2 touchdowns against that defense.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll make it 4 for 4, baby. We're all in on the Cowboys here.
Take the Texans then.
Yeah. Hey. We're either all really smart or all really dumb. I think maybe the most surprising spread of the week here, the Vikings, who only have 2 losses, are dogs, Craig, to the Lions. This is our division here. What the hell is going on? 2-point dogs to the Lions. The Lions are favorites. They are losing record. Somebody please make sense of this, Craig.
It's got to be the way they've been playing, right? I mean, the Lions have won 4 out of 5, and the only loss they got was a 3-point loss to Buffalo. So, I mean, they're playing good football. And, I mean, I guess Minnesota didn't look great last week. I mean,
they won the goddamn game.
They
covered,
I don't know,
too. They win and cover, and you're 2-point dogs to the Lions?
The Jets lost the game. I mean, they had that touchdown there at the end to win the game. It just got dropped. But I don't know. I mean, so I don't like it, but I'm going to take the Lions in this game because we were just talking on the reaction show about Minnesota down the stretch if they could win out. And I said that they would probably split with the Lions because the Lions are playing good football. So I'm going to take the Lions to win the game at home if I'm going to pick them in one of them. So, man, like I said, I mean, Detroit's playing good football. DeAndre Swift seems like he's kind of getting back healthy. They're playing way better on defense. They're getting to the quarterback, and they're getting hot at the right time, man. And I know Minnesota's 10-2, but there's just something kind of fool's goldy about the Minnesota Vikings to me. So I'm gonna take Detroit to win and cover.
Scott, you buying into the knee biting, Lions hype train here?
I am to a point, but I read a stat today that Minnesota, a winning record team that is underdog has covered 80% of the time is won outright. I'm taking Minnesota in this game. I think Minnesota's got too much talent for Detroit on offense, and I think Minnesota is going to win this game outright. I don't understand. The wrong team is favored in this game. So I love Minnesota in this spot. And they'll win the division if they win this week. So they're going to wrap everything up. So,
Johnny, Scott alluded to it. Vikings win this game. They win the division. They got everything to play for it yet. They're the dogs in this game. What's your thoughts here?
That's unbelievable to me that they're actually dogs in this game. I mean, I know that Detroit has won a few in a row, but it's still Detroit, and it's not like Minnesota has been losing. They've won 3 in a row as well. They just put 27 on a really good Jets defense. So I'm not even a gambler, but I'm fixing to make a bet tonight and pick Minnesota before that spread changes or something, and Vegas realizes that they made a mistake or something, bro. But that just don't seem right to me. I'm taking Minnesota. They have won a bunch of close games, and how I have felt about Minnesota this year. But I think they win this game by at least a field goal. And all they got to do is they're under. Wow, I can't believe they're getting points. I'm taking Minnesota, no doubt.
Yeah, I've said all season that Minnesota's got a horseshoe up their ass, and they're just that team. You watch it every year. There's a team that the ball bounces their way, and that's Minnesota. And I'm with Scott. The wrong team is favored in this game. I would have probably, if it was -3, plus 3.5. Detroit, I'd probably take Detroit, but Minnesota's finding ways to cover almost every game they're in. They play up to their competition, down to the competition, but they find ways to win. And now you're giving me their points at plus 2.5. Give me the Vikings. I hate the Vikings, but I'm taking them.
I feel you, Scott. Now, as the and Craig, because Craig's you guys both be putting your bets. Like, does it worry you at all that Vegas is making a 10-2 team the underdog here against yes, Detroit is playing well, but I mean it's Detroit. They're notorious for being Detroit. Like, does that worry you as a gambler? Because I'm literally gonna place a bet when we get done with this show.
I would say a little bit, because Vegas, usually when I look at something like that at the beginning of the week, I say Vegas just overreacted to a Detroit big win last week. But as the week goes on, if it stays the same or Detroit takes on more money, then I'm thinking to myself, what does Vegas know that we don't know? Is there something coming out in the next day or so that tells me why Detroit is favored? So right now I'm not worried, but if we get to Friday and it's still the same, or Detroit is going up to 3-point favorite, then I'm starting to wonder, what do they know? There's something there that nobody knows yet except them. So right now, no, but talk to me again on Friday and I'll let you know.
Craig, you agree with that?
I don't know. I mean, I always kind of think with the mindset that, Vegas doesn't lose, You might win sometimes, but the house don't lose. So, there's got to be something there. There's a reason the Lions are favored in this, and it's got to be the way people are betting, I would think.
So if I was going to bet, should I bet now before the number changes?
Yes.
I would. Yes.
Okay.
The line's going to change. The line's going to change towards Detroit because more money's going to come in on Minnesota. So the line's that's going to affect the line.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
So now's the time to bet it if you're going to bet it, because it'll probably. I think
but if more people start betting on Minnesota at this line, the line's going to shrink.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think by Friday it would probably be even, or maybe even shift to Detroit minus, something. Unless it's like Scott said, unless they know something and it stays the same, then that's the time to be weary.
Yeah, a 10-2 team is never underdog against a losing record team. I've never seen it. So there's something there that Vegas thinks they know that's gonna, that affects this line. So
let's get into the next one. Two teams that got their asses whooped, and one team who's winning their division fired their general manager out of surprise move. Johnny, I've never seen a team with a winning record winning their division, told their GM, go the F home. What's your thoughts here as Jacksonville, who got beat down by the Lions last week, headed to Tennessee? They're 4-point dogs. Tennessee firing their general manager after getting beat down by the Eagles.
Yeah, beat down by the Eagles and beat down by the guy that they traded to the Eagles because they didn't want to pay the man. So, it is surprising that they fired him, but at the same time, the Titans have been the same exact thing for the last several years. And I love Mike Vrabel, obviously King Henry. But, when you extend Ryan Tannehill, even though he's a difference maker in some people's eyes, nah, man. I get it. You know what I'm saying? He totally embarrassed them. How do you not find a way to re-sign, your best offensive weapon that's not named Derrick Henry?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I understand the firing. Luckily they're in a horrible division, but you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and say that the Jags cover. I'm gonna go ahead and take Jacksonville in this. I know that's probably not a good bet, but I'm gonna go ahead and say, there's a little turmoil going on in Tennessee, so I think Jacksonville keeps it close in this game.
Craig, what's your thoughts there? Jacksonville, Tennessee, and if you got some thoughts about the GM getting fired midweek. What's your go ahead and lay them out too?
Yeah, I think Johnny kind of nailed it, man. I mean, I don't know. There had to be some underlying issues already there, right? And then AJ Brown comes to town and puts it on you. Had to be the icing on the cake. I think the big problem is you look at the Titans, man, and I feel like what's the one thing they're missing? I mean, they're missing an AJ Brown type wide receiver, and he exposed them. He put it on them, and then when Philly got that lead, they just don't have a weapon that they can climb. Yeah, that they can climb back in a game like that. As far as this week, I feel like the Titans don't need that weapon against the Jags. I feel like this is a Derrick Henry game. This is one of those games where Derrick Henry is enough. And man, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really believe in the Titans, but I believe in Mike Vrabel. I picked the Titans last week because they were coming off a loss, and I just said Mike Vrabel's real good after a loss. They were terrible against Philly. So now they're coming off of 2 losses. So I got to take Mike Vrabel in this one. I mean, especially against Jacksonville. They looked terrible last week. And there's talks that Trevor Lawrence might not even be available this weekend. He's a little banged.
Oh, for real?
He took a shot, man. I'm hoping he plays because he's my backup in my fantasy league, and I need him this week with Justin Fields out. I need a win crucially. But they are saying he might not play. So
yeah, I'm flipping. I'm flipping it. I'm jumping on the Titans. I thought his leg was broke because I was watching the red zone when that happened. I thought he broke his leg, and then suddenly he's walking off the field. So I thought he was good. Now you're telling me he might not play? Yeah, no, I'll switch that up real quick before it's locked in stone. I'll switch that up, and I'll say the Titans will win this and cover.
The report I read on my fantasy app said that he did not practice, and that they said that coach said that he was day to day, and he wouldn't say that he would be ready for Sunday.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'll take Titans then. Thank you for the heads up there, Craig.
Scott, what's your thoughts here? Titans, Jags, Titans firing their general manager.
It's really strange to fire a general manager during the season, unless your team is just like 1-11 or 1-12 or something. So there's, as you guys have said, there's an underlying thing going on inside the organization that would lead to this. AJ Brown, again, reiterated, he just put it on Tennessee all game last week. So, but this week, as Craig said, you don't need that game breaking wide receiver. I think Jacksonville is going to get Derrick Henry big time this week. So I love the Titans to win by at least a touchdown. I will say this game will be close going in the fourth quarter, but I think Tennessee's going to pull it out like a 24-17 type of game. So, and I think Derrick Henry's going to get back to Derrick Henry this week. So
yeah, I expect it to be a low-scoring game. So kind of what I've read is that Vrabel did not want to get rid of A.J. Brown. Wanted to keep A.J. Brown, wanted to make sure he got his money. That was one of his guys. And then
did you see the video of the draft? Vrabel walked out of the room as soon as he heard A.J. Brown got traded.
Yeah.
He just walked out of the room.
So and then the GM, and then I think after that game when they said, I think Vrabes went to the owner and said, hey, you see what the A.J. Brown just did to us? Like, we win that game if he's on our team. That trade cost us, and it's costing us a season and a chance to make a deep run for the playoffs because this idiot didn't pay him his money. So then the owner said, all right, well, I love you, Vrabes. We all love you. So we're getting rid of him. So that's 100% I believe what happened. And because nobody in that building wanted A.J. Brown gone besides the general manager. And he traded. And Burks is doing all right. He's been hurt. He made a hell of a catch in that game, but he's not A.J. Brown yet. And if you're the Titans, you're in win now mode because you only have so many years left of Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill's already limited in his performances, but what's he going to do when he gets a little bit older? He's going to be worse off. With that being said, though, like you guys have said, it doesn't matter this week. Jags got their big win when they beat the Ravens. They still stink. I'm hammering home the Titans, baby.
Yeah, I didn't understand that trade at all. You know what I mean?
Nobody did.
You're not like that's your one weapon, like I said, besides Derrick Henry, and he's a stud. Like, give him, like, you really thought that. I mean, and I like the Burks kid. He might turn into something, but come on, man. Like, yeah, like you said, you're in win now mode. You don't get rid of your second best offensive player, man, in his prime.
It seems like the GM was like, we can't pay you. We'd like to pay you, but we can't. So we're going to trade you out of the AFC to the NFC, and you're not really going to hurt us. Well, guess what? They hurt him. He hurt him.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing.
Speaking of A.J. Brown and the Eagles, they head to New York, and they are 7-point favorites here. Johnny, what's your thoughts here on, potential MVP candidate Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown taking on the Giants, who are slowly faltering here?
Yeah, the Giants are coming back down to earth. God, I wish you would have asked Craig first, to be quite honest, but it's all good. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna say. See, the Eagles have been scoring early, and then they're able to just kind of cruise and let the defense go after the other team's quarterback. So if that happens, Saquon's pretty much out the game if they're having to play catch up, and it's, I'm not trusting Daniel Jones. So yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and say Philly covers this. Like, I would love to say the Giants at least cover. I don't think the Giants have a chance to win this game, to be quite honest. But, it's a divisional game. I'm going to ride with Philly. I'm going to ride with Philly and say they cover this, man.
Scott, the Eagles look like an absolute wagon. We just talked about it. What impresses me the last 2 weeks, the first week against the Packers, they run all over the Packers. Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, they all run all over us. And then last week, they get it done through the air. Jalen Hurts is throwing for 300 yards, hitting A.J. Brown, Smith, Devontae Smith. They're doing it all sorts. And then that defense, we're seeing that defense come along really well. And the Giants are, we're kind of, this feel-good story the first half of the season. But, as Johnny said, they're kind of coming back down to earth here.
Yeah, I agree with Johnny. Philadelphia is going to win this game probably by 10 points. I just think the Giants are a one-dimensional team. I don't think Daniel Jones can carry an offense with his arm. He has to be able to run the ball. Saquon's going to get shut down, I think, in this game. I don't think he's going to get going. I think Philly knows the secret to stopping the Giants. The Giants' secondary is no great shakes, so to speak. So I think Jalen Hurts is going to have another big game this week. So give me Philadelphia, and I'll give the points this week.
Craig, what's your thoughts here on the Eagles-Giants? As everybody's picking the Eagles right here.
I mean, it's tough not to pick the Eagles, right? I mean, they just look good on both sides of the ball, man. They're playing great defense. They can beat you on the ground. They can beat you in the air. And, I mean, they showed it last week. I mean, Tennessee's no slouch, and they made them look like trash. But we've also seen Philly play some tight games, So, I mean, I don't know. I've been back and forth on this one. Everything says Philly should win and cover. But I'm going to take the Giants.
I knew
the Giants to cover.
I knew that shit was coming, man. I knew that was coming.
Hey, well, Craig, guess what, buddy? You're on Giant Island. I'm not going on there with you. I'm riding with Scott and Johnny. Jalen Hurts right now is my front runner for MVP. Just the way that he's playing, he passed Pat Mahomes for me last weekend. I thought it was I had Josh Allen early. Actually, I had Lamar and Josh Allen early. Lamar is now off. Josh Allen is now off. Then it was Mahomes and Jalen. Watch out for my guy Joey Burrow coming on late for this MVP race. But right now, it's Jalen Hurts is to lose, and he continues the MVP race. Give me the Eagles at -7.
Yeah, the other thing with the Eagles, too, is that as well as they're playing, Minnesota's one game behind them. Yeah. So they ain't trying to lose that number one spot. So, I mean,
Cowboys,
you would
too.
think,
Cowboys right there, too.
Yeah, right. You would think, this might be a letdown game, but nah, man. Philly's just keeping their foot on the gas, and they besides the Cowboys coming up in a couple weeks, they can wind up with just one loss.
Craig, we'll
So-
go with you here.
Wow.
We talked about Mike Tomlin maybe finishing with a winning record. They got a chance to pick up another win here as they're 2.5 favorites as Huntley starting for the Ravens here on Sunday comes to town.
Yeah, man. I mean, if Lamar was playing, I would take the Ravens probably pretty quickly here. But with Lamar being out, I feel like it's a lot tougher pick. Pittsburgh has been playing a little bit better. Their offense, I'm not going to go as far as saying is looking good, but it's looking better. Kenny Pickett's starting to throw the ball a little bit better. And the Ravens, man, I mean, even when Lamar's playing, it just seems like it don't matter if they're playing a good team or a bad team. They're always playing in a field goal game in the fourth quarter, it seems like. So at home, man, I mean, I'm going to ride with Mike Tomlin here. I'm going to take the Steelers to win this game by a field goal. So it's a 2.5 point spread. I'll take Pittsburgh.
Scott, we'll come to you because Johnny always gets nervous if I don't go to him last. He doesn't know what to do. So what's your thoughts here, Pittsburgh and the Ravens?
So you got a backup quarterback for the Ravens. You got a run game that's struggling for the Ravens, and a defense that's aggressive for the Ravens. But I don't think that the Steelers are going to have to throw the ball a ton this game. I think this is going to be one of those old school Baltimore-Pittsburgh games, low scoring, physical, defensive minded. And in that case, give me the Steelers at home. I think the Steelers are going to win this game by a field goal. I think it's going to be a 17-14 game. I think Pittsburgh's hitting their stride at the right time. They're another team that's hitting at the right time. So I think Pittsburgh's going to win this game by at least a field goal, maybe a touchdown. I have no confidence in Huntley and the Baltimore run game. They're going to do anything this week. So,
Johnny, the Steelers have been coming on since T.J. Watt. That defense just looks like a whole new team when he's out there on the field. He's back. He's healthy. What's your thoughts here, Ravens Steelers? And a game really the Ravens need to win.
Yeah, no, they do need to win this game, but I'm riding with the guys here on this one. I'm all over Pittsburgh as well. Kenny Pickett is getting more comfortable. They got weapons out on the outside with Johnson. I love Pickens. I think he's gonna wind up being a stud. And like Scott said, I think they run the ball well in this game. I'm not the biggest Baltimore fan, even with Lamar. So without Lamar, I'm definitely riding with Pittsburgh on this one. It seems like they are determined to make sure that streak continues as far as no losing season. So I think they win this game probably by at least a touchdown. What up?
what up, Philly?
What's up, you guys? Hey, Philly, we already talked about the Eagles. We were all in on the Eagles winning that. Outside of Craig, he took the Giants. Man, this is another game here.
Took the Giants to cover.
Yeah, took the Giants to cover.
Yeah, make that clear.
Man, I'm kind of with you guys here. The Ravens just don't have one single offensive weapon that scares you. With Mark Andrews,
right?
That's it. Everybody else seems to be hurt, banged up. Mike, I don't watch a whole lot of First Take because I think it's freaking awful. But Mike Greenberg, I did catch a little tweet of his or something he had said, and was like, Lamar Jackson hasn't done great with the Ravens, but the Ravens have done Lamar a disservice, and I 100% agree with that. They should pay him, and they just have not helped him. They have done him a disservice. I'm with you guys. Without Lamar, I'm going to go. I do like Huntley. I think he's a serviceable backup. There's way worse backups in this league. But give me the Steelers at -2.5.
Bro, go ahead, Craig.
I was just going to say, you said it. I mean, since TJ's been back, that the Pittsburgh defense is just different. They're different when he's out there.
And they literally struggled to beat the Broncos. So, yeah,
that's true.
I'm taking Pittsburgh, man.
The Ravens, Philly Sports Talk podcast says the Ravens have been very inconsistent as of recently. Yeah, Lamar Jackson was kind of my MVP because I just thought he was going to go scorched earth, and it just didn't quite happen.
He should have took that money, man. He should have got his money.
A lot of injuries.
Yep.
Johnny, you mentioned the Broncos. Will they host the Chiefs? I'm actually surprised this spread's not higher. I feel like this spread should be the Texans-Cowboys at 16.5. The Broncos host the Chiefs and their dogs at 9.5. Johnny, unfortunately for you, I am going to start with you here since you mentioned the Broncos.
It's all good. I ain't never scared. I was just saying that one thing with Craig. I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. I think they're, coming off that loss against Cincinnati, people are starting to like question them and stuff. So I think Pat Mahomes and the boys are going to want to put it on Denver. Like I said, Denver, what they score 8 points or something like that against Baltimore last week, or 9. Yeah. I think Kansas City, and plus Kansas City wants that number 1 spot, so they cannot afford to lose this game. And I know the spread is pretty big, but I think Kansas City covers because Denver is just they're garbage. They're just garbage this year, man. So I'm going to go Kansas City, even though that spread worries me a little bit. But I think Pat and the boys, I think they put it on them.
Scott, it seems like the Chiefs can't ever cover, but I think they're a little bit amped up because they did lose the heartbreaking loss to the Bengals last week. And let's just face it, the Broncos are the absolute most disappointing team in the world. It's like going home with the prom date and realizing she doesn't give you head. You're just so disappointed.
the flight from
Oh my God. Man.
Do you want Craig to go
fucking
first?
Love this show. I love this show, yo.
What happened to the real Russell Wilson from the flight to Seattle to Denver? Where is he? I have no idea where he is. I've never seen him fall off this precipitous this quickly. I don't think Denver's going to score more than 7 points in this game, to be honest with you. I think Kansas City's going to put a big number on them. I think Denver's offense is broken, cannot be fixed until Nathaniel Hackett's fired as a head coach. So I love Kansas City in this spot. And I agree with you. This should be a Dallas spread, to be honest with you. What has Denver shown to be only 8.5, 9.5 point underdogs? Not much. So give me Kansas City in this.
Craig, I know you've gone home with quite a few strippers in your life and had that thing put out. So that's kind of what the Broncos are doing with Russ Wilson here. So, what's your thoughts?
Man, when I first saw this, I was thinking 9 points for the Chiefs is a lot to me because Kansas City never covers the big spreads, it seems like. It seems like they always should have a bigger spread, but yet they still don't cover the spread. But, man, that stat that you sent me about the Broncos, it was like if the Broncos scored at least 18 points in every game this year, they would be 10-2. And that just tells you how bad their offense is. And if they can't score 18 points, then they can't score within 9 of the Chiefs, I don't think, especially the Chiefs coming off a loss. So I think this one's going to get out of hand. I think it's going to get ugly. I think Kansas City wins by double digits, so I'm going to ride with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I feel like Mike Singletary when he's like, can't do it, won't do it. That's me with the Broncos. Can't win with them. That's what it's like when you pick the Broncos. Give me the Chiefs. We're all in on Kansas City. They probably don't cover because they never cover. But by God, this is the one game you got to cover, Kansas City. It's the lowly, crappy, freaking Broncos, the most disappointing team in the NFL.
All right, bettors. On this one, sorry, Nick, real quick. On this one, is this one that if you're going to bet it now before it gets to the end of the week?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I need some money this week. That's why I'm asking you guys.
Johnny trying to gamble back his Christmas presents.
Facts.
That spread will get to 14 probably before kickoff.
Woo.
So, yeah.
Craig, Tom Brady did it again on Monday night, and now the Bucs. I don't understand. This is another spread I don't understand. The Bucs with the GOAT Tom Brady are dogs to going against Brock Purdy of the 49ers. And the 49ers are still the favorite at 3.5. Again, Brock Purdy versus the GOAT, and the GOAT is the dog.
I mean, you saw what the Brock Purdy 49ers did to the Miami Dolphins, and the Miami Dolphins have looked way better than the Buccaneers have all year.
Yep.
So I feel like the spread is, I mean, it's reasonable. I'm not that surprised by it just because, I mean, shoot, 2 of Tampa Bay's wins have been, I mean, last second, Tom Brady comebacks. Just as a whole, Tampa Bay hasn't looked good. They won last week. They did not look good. The offense didn't look good. San Francisco's defense has looked great. I don't know, man. This one was tough. I was back and forth. I think San Francisco has got a lot of pieces. I think they are going to be a team that is still going to make noise with Brock Purdy at quarterback. But man, I'm taking Tom Brady. I'm taking the Bucks to find a way to pull it out and to start. They're gonna start getting the ball rolling in the right way. I think right here towards the end of the season, and the Bucks are gonna sneak into the playoffs, and Tom Brady's gonna be in there. He's still gonna be somebody that you don't want to play. That Tampa Bay defense is still good. So yeah, I mean, on the road, even as bad as they've looked, I'm taking Tom Brady. I'm taking the Bucks.
Johnny, you said
sorry, you think they win or they just cover, Craig?
Oh,
I'm taking the Bucks to cover, but I'm taking them to win this game.
Nah, I'm sorry to cut you off, Nick. I'm going San Francisco.
Oh no,
bro.
You're going San Francisco.
Yeah, man, that defense is legit. Not for nothing, but Brock Purdy, it wasn't too big for him to stage. Kyle Shanahan did a good job as far as the play calling that he did with this kid. I mean, he drafted him for a reason. Like, I had to help San Francisco fans out the other day on Gina's show because they were all tripping talking about they should sign Baker Mayfield. I think they're good with Purdy. They're not gonna ask him to win the game. They're just gonna ask him to not lose the game, manage the game. They're gonna run the ball. They're gonna play good defense. And like you said, Tampa Bay just came back to win against the crappy Rams. They beat a Saints team that is way under 500. I know it's Tom Brady and all that, but I mean it's only 3.5, and I think San Francisco wins this game. I think at least a touchdown for San Francisco. They win by. I don't know. The Bucks may not score. I mean they only put up the few points against the Saints, and it was mostly towards the end of the game. I mean, they could. I'm not gonna say they're gonna get shut out because it's Tom Brady, but I'll go all San Francisco all over on this one, man. I'll definitely take San Francisco.
Disrespect that you have for the GOAT, Johnny. I know he's doo-dooed on your Dolphins all them years. Scott, I know you worship Tom Brady because he got you all them rings. So you're taking Brady and the Bucks, right? With points.
No, not in this
No.
case.
Oh my gosh.
San Francisco's defense is for real. I mean, it's for real. And Tom Brady against the Marshawn Lattimore-less Saints defense last week could not do anything until late in the fourth quarter. I just think the Bucs are going to be an inconsistent team all year. Win one, lose one, win one, lose one. And I think San Francisco's defense is going to shut them down completely. So I love San Francisco, again, in a low-scoring game, but I think if they put 17 up on the board, I don't think Tampa can get to 10 in this game. So give me San Francisco and I'll give the points. And I love Tom Brady. He did a lot for us as Patriots fans, but he's in Tampa Bay. He has no offensive line at all, and that's a problem for them. Yep. So.
You know what Tom Brady's going to do? He's going to audition for the 49ers. That's what he's doing. Yeah. And he's going to put it on the 49ers. The disrespect that you guys just gave the GOAT when he's getting points is, I mean, Jesus, just straight asinine, if you ask me. I can't believe this. You guys are riding with Brock Purdy. Do you even know who the hell Brock Purdy is? Yeah, Mr. Irrelevant from Iowa State. You know who he couldn't beat? The freaking Iowa Hawkeyes, who can't even score 10 points the whole time he was there. So Brock Purdy is absolutely nobody. There's a reason he was the 7th round pick. There's a difference in being rushed into a game when nobody has prepared for you, didn't even know that you were probably on the roster. There's a little difference. And then when the Tampa Bay Bucks are going to have a whole week to prepare for you, and there's a little bit of game film on you, they're going to go back and watch all the tendencies that you did at Iowa State, and they're going to watch a little bit of that film from last week. It is going to be low scoring because the Bucks can't score 20 points. But if you're giving me Tom Brady and you're giving me points, you know who I'm riding with. I'm riding with the damn GOAT, baby.
Nah.
On next week's show, Johnny and Scott are going to have to apologize to Tom Brady.
That'll never happen, bro. That'll never happen, bro.
I almost want to change my pick because I feel like you had a conversation like this about 6 weeks ago and they lost.
He's not going to let me down twice, Craig.
It ain't about Tom Brady, bro. It's about that team, and like Scott said, that offensive line is all banged up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
and Brady does not like to get hit, bro. Brady ain't trying to get hit, especially with a 40-plus-year-old body. So I think Nick Bosa goes off.
And in all honesty, I mean, San Francisco's probably the best off team in the NFL if losing their quarterback, just because of the system and the scheme and the way that they play football. I mean, no disrespect to Jimmy G, but Jimmy G's shoes are probably the easiest to fill out of almost any starting quarterback in the league.
Yeah, and the reason they traded for McCaffrey is spots like this. When they're down to their third-string quarterback, they turn and hand the ball. Purdy might only throw the ball 10 times this week, in all honesty. Right. San Francisco might just run the heck out of the ball this week. So,
speaking of another banged-up team, you got the Seattle as they host the Panthers. Seattle -3.5, Scott, but no Walker in this game. And Seattle seems to also be, coming back down to earth. They're a team that they're right there for the playoffs and a team that still can win their division, especially once the 49ers lose to the Buccaneers on Sunday.
I think Geno Smith has been probably one of the top 3 most consistent quarterbacks all year long in the NFL. I think Pete Carroll is going to say to Geno Smith, you need to win this game for us. And he's going to be able to. Sam Darnold is leading Carolina's offense.
You would have thought that.
I know. Listen, all in the preseason, it was Seattle's offense going to be terrible. They're not going to do anything. Well, here they are. They're in a chase for the division, NFC West, and a playoff spot. Who thought that was going to happen? I like Seattle in this spot. Carolina going up there to a crowd that's going to be loud and rowdy, and who knows what the weather's going to be like in Seattle. Could be raining, could be not. I just don't think Carolina has anything to match up with Seattle on defense. So I love Seattle in this spot at home, going for a playoff spot. So give me Seattle, and I'll give you the points.
Craig, the Seattle couldn't even cover against the no-name Rams. Can they cover against Donald? Whatever his name. What's the is it? Aaron, I'm about to say Aaron Donald. Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold. Yeah, Sam Darnold and the Panthers here they're without Walker, which I feel like that's a big hurt.
It is a big hurt, and I mean, it's not just they're without Walker. It seems like every running back up there is hurt. So I'm not even sure who's going to be running the ball. I mean, I said it in the reaction show a little bit. I think Seattle's kind of coming back down to earth, and I think they will kind of continue that trend down the stretch here. Carolina's played better football since Matt Rule left, since they traded Christian McCaffrey. They've played in some pretty competitive games. Got old Sammy Dimes back, who, I mean, every now and again he'll give you a good game. I think, to me, the big difference maker in this is where it's being played at. If this game was being played in Carolina, I'd probably take the Panthers to cover. But playing in Seattle's always tough, man. It's just always a tough place to play. So I'm going to take Seattle to win and cover.
Johnny, what's your thoughts here? Seattle and and
Carolina. Yeah, I completely agree with the guys here. yeah, the Walker thing is a little worrisome, and I didn't realize all their running backs was hurt, like Craig was just saying. But um, still, it's in Seattle, and you talk about Sam Darnold. So I have no faith in that kid, and I thought he was going to be the best one in that draft coming out. So you're talking about two former Jets quarterbacks going at each other, but I'm going to go with the better coach in Pete Carroll. And they are one game behind San Fran, and they are fighting for a playoff spot. So I think Seattle wins and covers this.
The 3.5 is kind of what gets me, man. They couldn't cover against the Rams. The Panthers are still. I mean, they're in every game. I'm going on Panther Island. Give me the Panthers. I think they find a way without Walker. Scott, I mean, the fact that you uttered the sentence that they just told Geno Smith he's going to have to go out and win the game. Jesus, if you would have told me that at the beginning of the year, this guy is on crack. There's no way he knows what the hell he's talking about. But, I mean, you're right. Geno's been very consistent all season. I have given him his due. I've apologized, and he's never wrote me back, even when I was hating on him, and for my apologies. So, for all that, with that being said, give me the Panthers and Sam Darnold. All right, let's go ahead. We'll knock into the last we've got 2 games left to go here. The Sunday night game. Johnny, your Dolphins head into the Chargers. Did they stay out west or did they go back home? Do you know?
Yeah, no, they stood there. They're hanging out at the UCLA facility. And I think, I think they win this game. I think they cover. They have a statement to make in this game here. They got to win this game here, before they go to Buffalo. I mentioned before this 3-game road trip that if we're going to lose one, lose the San Fran one because it's an NFC team. Yeah. But they man for man were saying how disappointed they were because they know that they left opportunities out on that field against San Fran. So I think they take it out on the Chargers. And, you want to talk about idiot coaching. That is, saying the Chargers coach. So I think Mike McDaniel comes up with a game plan. I think Tua is going to be on point. And I think they win by at least a touchdown in this game.
Craig, what's your thoughts here as the Dolphins are 3-point favorites as they go to LA Chargers?
Yeah, man. I pretty well agree with Johnny here. I like the Dolphins. Like I said earlier, man, last week, to me, that was just more about the 49ers and how real that defense is. I don't knock Miami. I said it in the reaction show before that game against the 49ers. In the last 5 games, Miami was averaging 34 points a game. So, I mean, to me, that's who they are. And I think you see that again this week, especially against the Chargers. Chargers defense just can't stop anybody. So I feel like this game is going to turn into a shootout. And there's a handful of teams in the NFL you don't want to shoot it out with. And I think Miami's one of them. So I think Miami wins by more than a field goal. I think the Chargers just get outplayed and get outcoached. And I think Miami's just too much. Coming off that loss, I feel like Miami's got something to prove here.
Scott, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think Miami is the better team in this matchup, and I think the better team is going to show the sub-better team how much better they are. The Chargers don't win this game, they're going to have a hard time making the playoffs, I think. So I think Miami is going to want to knock them out. I think Miami is going to be able to throw the ball, run the ball, and they're going to have the advantage on special teams as well. So having said that, Miami's going to win this game by at least 7 points, maybe even 10. So,
yeah, this game's interesting, right? It's the Tua Herbert matchup. 2 years ago, everybody said, Dolphins should have took Herbert over Tua, and now that's kind of that talk isn't as loud as it once was. It's kind of metaled out to where it's like, it is what it is. Tua is now playing really well. So maybe they made the right choice. So it'll be interesting, the Tua versus Herbert matchup. But I like both guys. I kind of like Herbert's rawness more and his talent level more than I like Tua more. But I like the Miami Dolphins coach, McDaniel, way more than I like Staley. I think, again, he's just going to do something so stupid that you ask yourself, how the hell did this guy get a head coaching job? So give me the Dolphins at -3, baby, on Sunday night.
Yep.
And then we get into the Monday night game. The Patriots, Scott, your Patriots go to Arizona. The Cardinals are 2.5 dogs at home. How do you like your Patriots here on Monday night?
The one thing I will say that gives me confidence in the Patriots is they've had extra rest. They had 10 days off. Cardinals are coming off a bye, so both teams should be well rested in this game. I'm going to take the Cardinals in this spot. I don't have any confidence that Matt Patricia and Joe Judge can come up with an offensive game plan to stop Diop and Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray's going to run as a quarterback. The Patriots cannot stop running quarterbacks. Justin Fields ran all over him. Lamar ran all over him. So I think Arizona is going to win this game on Monday night. This is basically like their Super Bowl game against the Patriots. This could knock the Patriots out of the playoff, any type of playoff positioning they possibly have. So I like Arizona in this game. I like this to be a 31-24 type of game. I just think Arizona's got too much on the offensive side of the ball that's going to give the Patriots problems on defense. So,
Craig, Scott's saying that Arizona's got a lot of offensive weapons, but it seems like they also have a lot of problems on that offense with Kyler and the head coach getting along or being on the same page. What's your thoughts here, Patriots, Cardinals?
Man, this one's tough. I feel like the Patriots have just been one of the teams that I just can't figure out on picking them against the spread. I just seem like I'm getting it wrong every week. When I pick them to cover, they don't. When I pick them not to, they do. But, man, this game for Arizona, this is huge. You're coming off the bye week. You're at home. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury's seat is already hot. You can't go out there and get it put on you on Monday night at home coming off the bye week. I mean, he could be fired on Tuesday morning, depending on how this game goes.
Yep.
So I'm with Scott on this. I'm going to take Arizona. I think Arizona just has the ability to score more. Like he said, New England's defense has been great, but they have struggled against mobile quarterbacks. So if Kyler Murray can start scrambling, that just opens up Hollywood Brown, opens up DeAndre Hopkins.
Is
and
Hollywood
the
Brown
Patriots.
playing? Is he playing? Hollywood playing?
he is playing.
Yeah,
He is
he's
playing.
playing.
Yep.
So and New England they've had trouble scoring. I mean, so their offense is hard to believe in. So I'm going to take Arizona to cover.
Johnny, what's your thoughts here?
Talk about all kinds of disrespect towards a great coach there in Bill Belichick. But the fact that it's Mac Jones and I have no confidence in the Cardinals or Kyler Murray or their coach or their GM. But they just have so many more weapons. I know Belichick will game plan so that the defense will keep them in the game. But the fact that they're favored is crazy to me with Mac Jones. So I mean, yeah, no, I have no confidence in taking the Cardinals, but I'm gonna take the Cardinals to pull this off. It's 2.5. I mean, and 2.5 points. I mean, even if New England wins this game, they might barely win this game. Like I said, I expect Bill Belichick to have some type of nice game plan, for the Cardinals, but they have so many more weapons. I mean, New England is going to have a hard time scoring in this game. So I'll take the Cardinals.
I've taken the Patriots the last 2 weeks. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me never again. So I'm taking Arizona here. That's not happening. I can't do it. Neither one of these teams is any damn good.
Facts.
You give respect to Bill and his defense and his coaching, but like Scott said, from the beginning of the show to now, the end of it is that they can't freaking score. They don't have their offense isn't any damn good. And then you got the other team's got every weapon that you could ask for to be a Super Bowl contender, and their coach and their quarterback can't get on the same page, and they're too busy whining to somebody, whining in the corner, pointing fingers on whose fault it is. So give me Arizona. I don't feel great about it, but at least I got a man in the building, and that's D-Hop. So give me Zona. All right. Scott, I know it is. Before we get out of here, I want to ask you, because it is almost the final. We're in the playoffs almost for, fantasy. And Craig, you go ahead. You can chime in too. Is there somebody that, let's say for myself, I had Jimmy G. He's out. Who are we looking at maybe getting, kind of claiming on these waivers, or a couple sleepers here to snag in to maybe get that push in to make the playoffs?
Well, quarterback Mike White has been phenomenal. The two starts he's had, I would see if he's there. Jared Goff is another guy at home. He's a different Jared Goff than on the road. So Minnesota can be thrown on. So I think Detroit with Amon-Ra St. Brown and DeAndre Swift have the weaponry, and DJ Chalk showed up last week too. So those two quarterbacks right there. If you have a Jimmy G or heaven forbid, Marcus Mariota and Matt Ryan, if you're playing Justin Fields, you're missing them for bye week. So those two guys, I think, could be very good, serviceable 20-point quarterbacks for your team.
Is there any sleepers that you're looking at, like a guy that, maybe kind of off the radar to play this week?
Not really, because if you're in week 14 and you're in your playoff spot, you got to play the guys that have got you there. So, I played Zay Jones a lot last week. He let me down. You just can't really trust anybody in the waiver wire right now. It's really not a great waiver wire week, as I looked at through my leagues, to pick anybody up. If there's a guy on a bye that somebody dropped, pick him up. Like a Justin Fields, I know people are dropping because they need to win and they don't have anybody else they could drop. If he's there, pick him up. I did see Drake London on a ton of waiver wires in my leagues. If he's there, definitely pick him up. He's the only guy in town right now for Atlanta, I think. So
Great.
Just look.
What about you? Is there any must starts that you're looking at playing this week as you're trying to, get in to the playoffs?
I think Scott kind of nailed it at this point in the season. You've kind of got your guys that you're riding with. If you are in a pinch at quarterback, Huntley could be a decent option if he can get you some fantasy points with his legs. Personally, I feel like there are better options out there. I'm the Justin Fields owner in our league. I've got Trevor Lawrence as my backup to start for him this week, and he might not play. So I might be somebody out there scrounging for a last-second quarterback, and they are pretty thin in our league.
Yeah.
You should drop Justin
Brock
Fields.
Purdy.
You know what? I don't like the matchup, but Brock Purdy maybe. There's not a lot out there in our league. But Huntley, just with the capability that he has with his legs from a fantasy standpoint, he could be somewhat of a sleeper this week.
Yeah.
And as far as guys going into the playoffs, Hunter Renfrow has been on IR. It looks like he's about to come off. So I imagine there's a lot of leagues out there where Hunter Renfrow got dropped, and he could be a sneaky pickup for the playoff push.
Yeah, look for Darren Waller too. Speaking of the Raiders, he's coming back.
Are they playing this week?
Waller is targeting next week against the Patriots to come back.
I think that's Renfrow too. I don't think he's in this weekend.
So I think you need to strike a week early to get those guys, because if you're going to try to get those guys next week, you're going to be paying an exorbitant amount, where this week nobody's really thinking of them this week. So you could get away with a really cheap bid, $100 fab, maybe $10, in a 200, maybe 15 will get them. So you got to strike early.
Going into the playoffs like this, like in our league, it's a waiver order based on records. So if you're one of the top teams, you almost have to look 2 weeks ahead and act a week early, or you just don't have a chance at getting guys,
And this one last thing I'll mention is blocking other guys from picking up that are in the playoffs that you think you're going to match up with in the first round is not a bad idea, to block them and pick them up if you get the extra fab to do it. So. Or the waiver wire.
Facing each other in the first round of the playoffs next week. So
hey, I got to get in. I got to win this week.
Scott, I appreciate you joining the show, making time out and canceling all the other 8 podcasts that you're on, and joining us for as your pity party. Where can we find you at normally?
So my Twitter handle is SJCOBE1, so you can DM me there.
I got you down there already.
Yep. And you can also find me I'm on I-80 Sports on Friday nights and Sundays. I'm on the ESPC betting podcasts a couple of times a week. And I'm on Let's Talk Sports 3 or 4 times a week. So you can find me in all those platforms.
Johnny, I know you just put out the Dolphins preview for the week, right?
Yeah, I did it was the recap show, and I threw up the question, was it all Tua's fault? So I broke that down how, he did play poorly, but it wasn't all about him. So I just put that out on Let's Talk Sports. I'll be on Friday doing the Let's Talk Miami Dolphins, where I'll preview the game against the Chargers. Scott, I'm going to try to set up our AFC East roundtable for Saturday. Yep. And then, of course, Sunday, we're all over Let's Talk Sports with the morning show. And then I'm actually going to be on my pregame show at 7, and the postgame show will be both with Rob, since our teams are playing each other. So Rob Logan at Logan Sports will be on with me at 7 for the pregame. And then, of course, we'll both talk about the postgame, and I'll try to console him for the ass whooping that the Chargers are going to take on Sunday night.
Hey, well, guys, I appreciate y'all joining me again. It's always a pleasure. Again, folks, Let's Talk Sports is doing a quick giveaway. All you have to do is subscribe to my show, the Bodkin Show, obviously, and then Whiskey Sports podcast, and comment and subscribe to all Let's Talk Sports. That's it. That's all you got to do. That was running from Thanksgiving to Christmas. You're going to win $100, LTS mug and T-shirt, and a jersey of your choice. So that's it. Folks, again, subscribe, share, be a friend, tell a friend. I'm going to be back in the morning putting out my weekly sports wrap-up show tomorrow morning. So that'll happen about 6 a.m. Central Time Zone. So join us for that if you're up, drinking coffee, getting ready for work. I promise you it's better than Get Up and anything else out on ESPN.
Facts.
So join me in the YouTube comment section as we break down and talk all sports. I'm going to hit that outro, boys. Again, appreciate y'all. Be a friend, tell a friend. I'll be back in the morning. So join us then again. And then we'll be back Sunday night as well for our Week 14 reaction show. Be a friend, tell a friend. Hit that outro. Thank you.